The Gospel of John. The purpose of John is clearly stated in the 20th chapter, verses 30 and 31, that the reader may believe that Jesus is the Christ. That's the goal of John's Gospel. Who is the author of this Gospel? The author does not mention himself by name. John is not named here, but is referred to as the disciple whom Jesus loved. John 19:26, when Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." In 21:7, that disciple therefore whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." In John 21:20 through 24, again, he is referred to as the disciple whom Jesus loved. Early church tradition states that John, the brother of James, is the author. John supplies the names of all the apostles except his own and James. Throughout John and the Johannine epistles, we see an emphasis on the witness to Jesus, a true and reliable witness. Many scholars hold that it was the beloved disciple, John, who wrote the basics of this gospel, and perhaps others, even another John, such as John the Elder, may have completed the gospel and even written the epistles of John. Eusebius identifies John the Elder as a different person from John. There's quite a bit of discussion on the authorship. Occasion. We know from Revelation 1 to 3 there were problems in the churches in Asia Minor. There were problems with those who did not believe. There's also a conflict with followers of John the Baptist at that time. Gnosticism. Later in the 2nd century, Gnosticism would develop. Gnostics were dualists who believed that the spirit was good and matter was evil. The best modern illustration of such dualism is Star Wars, with a positive side of the Force and a negative side of the Force. Later, Gnostics would distinguish between Jesus and Christ, stating that Jesus was a human being, but as baptism the heavenly Christ took possession of him. John counters this heresy with John 1:14. The Word became flesh. This is a very late gospel, perhaps in the 90s. Some internal evidence for this: John does not list the apostles. At that time, it would not be important. Except for 2 signs parallel with the parables in the synoptics, John records different activities of Jesus. This may suggest that the other Gospels were already in circulation, and there was no need to repeat what was written in them. 2 key words: believe and witness. The Greek word for witness or testify is martyreo, from which we get the word martyr. When you compare John and the synoptics, there are many omissions in John, such as there is no genealogy, no account of Jesus' birth or temptation or transfiguration. There's no appointing of the disciples, no parables, no institution of the Lord's Supper, no agony in the garden, no account of the ascension. Remember the word 7 when speaking of John's Gospel. For he records 7 miracles. He calls them signs. He turned water into wine is his first of all his miracles in chapter 2, 1 through 11. The final one is in John 11. He brought Lazarus back from the dead. Only the feeding of the 5,000 and the walking on the water are in the synoptic Gospels. There are also 7 I am statements in John's Gospel. These begin in chapter 6, where Jesus says, I am the bread of life. Chapter 8, I am the light of the world. Chapter 10, I am the good shepherd. I am the gate, or door for the sheep. Chapter 11, I am the resurrection and the life. John 14:6, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. John 15, I am the true vine. Key to this are the words of Jesus in John 8:58. Before Abraham was born, I am. Note how they respond to these words. Read also Exodus 3, the call of Moses, as the Lord reveals himself as I am who I am. The Jews viewed Exodus 3 as a supreme self-revelation of the name of God. So what is Jesus saying with all his I am statements recorded by John? The chronology of John. Only John records an early Judean ministry of Jesus, Judea being in the south. John speaks of 3 Passovers, while the synoptics mention only one. John uses a Roman time frame. There the day began at midnight. The synoptics use the Jewish time, which designated a new daylight period beginning at 6 a.m. Remember, though, that for the Jewish people, the new day began at sundown. Here we see an outline of John keen on the Word. For in the body, parts 2, 3, 4, and 5, the Word spoken to Israel, the Word rejected by Israel, the Word received by the apostles, the Word of God brings grace and truth. So again, the Word is central. Logos. Key chapters in John. Chapter 1, Jesus identified as the Word, the Logos. Chapter 2, the first miracle, turning water into wine. Chapter 3, Nick at night. Nicodemus comes to visit Jesus at night. Chapter 6, Jesus is the bread of life. 10 is the Good Shepherd chapter. 11, the resurrection and life. Jesus raises Lazarus. Chapter 20, the resurrection appearance to Thomas. Chapter 20 is written in chiasm. In chapter 21, Jesus reinstates Peter, asking him 3 times, do you love me? And giving him the commission, feed my sheep. This is John's Gospel.